I have seen this many a time. Students start getting very anxious as the exams are approaching, and you start gossiping a little too much with absolutely irrelevant and rubbish information. So please understand that the gossip is going to be only for the losers. You have to understand that, say for example, if this is my exam, these are the subjects, what percentage, what is the weightage of the subject, which subject has more questions coming, etc. So those things, understanding those things, having a strategy to attempt the paper, making sure that you are able to complete the paper on time, etc. These are important. Understanding the tactics that, even if you're stuck with a question, do not spend too much time, mark that question, move forward to the remaining questions, come back to it later, do not have ego issues. So these kind of tricks and everything, not tricks I would say, because trick is something, little on the not negative side also, but it's not the apt word, but the strategy for your exam and all is understandable. But when people start discussing absolute rubbish information, like say for example, you have a 10-day window for the exam, and say suppose the paper is more difficult in the last 2 days as compared to the first 2 days. So this was a statement given to me by one of the students, that is it true? And I just asked him a simple question. First of all, who told you? I don't want to know the person's name, but whosoever has told you, has he taken the exam on the first 2-3 days of the exam term and the last 2-3 days? Has he compared the two? That is one. Second, how many people has he talked to? Now you people have studied statistics, the basics, you understand sample and population. You have talked to 3 or 4 people, that is your sample size, or 5 people or 10 people, and based on that you're extrapolating the entire thing for the population as a whole. How stupid that deduction is when that person is making such a deduction. That is absolutely irrelevant. And second, the difficulty level for student X and student Y could be very different. A paper that I am finding very difficult, you might find very easy. Possible. It also depends on the level of preparation, the level of concepts and understanding you have. So this becomes an absolutely rubbish point of view according to me, because I'm seeing students waste time, and more than time, waste their mental energy towards it, because then they start getting confused, then they start getting anxious, then they start overthinking about it. Of course, I want to know that, let's say for example, derivatives, what is the percentage of questions that is going to come from derivatives? So that the institute is defining, and we have that. But the problem is when you start figuring out that, okay, this part of the chapter, the question will be coming from this chapter, because last term this question came, so therefore this term this question will not come. It is absolute sheer nonsense. Why is that so? Because now you understand the exams are computer based, and therefore there is something called random numbers. You understand randomization. So when you're looking at the randomization part, so where the questions are going to come from for a chapter, there could be a pool of questions defined with the exam software, exam platform, and you could be getting any question out of that. So that also does not make sense to start predicting and forecasting which chapter will have more weightage, less weightage. I agree, even in your trackers, I have given you the importance level, but that is just like a guidance. There is no selective studying that is going to work. That is just as a teacher or as a paper setter. If I am the paper setter, I know that this topic is more important, this topic is less important. Does not mean that the less important will not have questions coming from there. And you don't know how the question mix is going to be there in your exam. Of course, the weightage is defined by the institute, that is going to be there. But within that, those weightages, what number of questions will come from what area, you cannot possibly forecast. So please do not waste time on all these things. Next, I was seeing somebody did an analysis, some student sent me a video, and somebody did an analysis of pass rates from 1980 or something. So first of all, if you're giving me the pass rate analysis, what used to be 1980 till 2022. So 1980 to 2020, in fact 2010 is absolutely irrelevant. In 1980, how were the financial markets? What was the level of globalization? What were the level of financial institutions and all? How open were the economy? The factors have changed drastically. So first of all, just because I want to, catch the audience's mind, and I will post absolutely anything which is going to create more commotion, because it is very unfortunate. I've seen people doing that. So you're not supposed to be doing these kind of things. You're not supposed to be falling. Actually, you are not supposed to be falling for these kind of things. Please be smarter than that. Right? So 1980 to 2010, the pass rate does not matter. Say for example, the pass rate, and then the analysis is being done that the pass rate was 40 or 42 or something, and now it is 37. It is such a big deal. How is it a big deal? Please explain. What is the volume, number of students taking the exam globally? You do not know that. What is the job requirements in the economy? You do not know that. What is the strike rate or the accuracy level of students? You do not know that. In which term students are more accurate or less accurate? and whether it is 37% or 42%. So do you think as a student, I'm going to be targeting a level between 37 and 42? Am I going to be targeting that, say for example, if I'm looking at it, am I going to be seeing, if I'm looking at it, do I see 37% and 42% and this people, let's say this is fail and let's say this is pass. So if the pass rate would have been 42, am I trying to target that I want to be here? Do you think this is how we people target? You are supposed to be targeting that first, I'm going to complete my curriculum without self-selective studying. Second, I'm going to try to do my best on the exam day without thinking about the outcome. My focus, my concentration, my coverage, my revision, my understanding, everything is absolutely top notch, and I will try to get in the top 10 percentile. So how does it matter whether your pass rate is 42 or 37? Are you going to target that I want to be in that 37 to 42 bracket? Are you trying to go, be in the margin, on the margin? Of course not. Your objective is going to be that I want to be in the topmost percentile. If I aim for a 90 percentile, maybe I'll get an 80. If you're going to aim for a 70, how do you expect to get an exact 70? You cannot aim for 70 and shoot literally at 70, right? So don't fall for all this. And in that video, I saw this person promoting that buy the credit card from my link. So unfortunately, you will have no recommendation of buying anything from my link. I'm not a salesman. So that is that. So do not go by all of these things. Another question I got was that there are, if I mark all, suppose I do not know anything, this wonderful intellectual question we just received. So if I do not know anything in the paper, if I mark all the answers A or all the answers B, will it work? So again, randomization happens, options might be shifted up or down. You do not know which option or which number. Even when you're practicing, at times we see series of A's are there as the answers or series of B. You cannot forecast all of that. Right? So that all that is not going to be working, that if I mark all the questions which I do not know. Obviously it makes sense, since there is no negative marking. It is very logical that you answer something. Even if you do not have time left, if you do not know that particular answer, all you need to do is you at least mark something, whatever it is. Take a logical guess. Of course that matters. That is strategy. If you do not mark, then that is stupidity. But trying to figure out that what will be the pattern and how should I mark the options and all, that is not going to work. So stay away from all the gossip. Stay away from all this drama and noise and everything. Shut out for a while. Of course, be connected in the sense to understand things and, for your doubts and for your support system with your friends and other students who are taking the exams and all. Of course, that is important. Stay updated if there's any information coming in, if there's any update coming in. But again, information update strategy is different from gossip. So stay away from all that nonsense kind of gossip. So understand that. Do not waste time. If people are doing it, encourage them, let them do. Do not bother about it. You do your studies. There is going to be no substitute for hard work, studying, understanding your concepts, having a very good frame of mind on the exam day, and taking the exam to the best of your ability. Before the exam, your priority is that being able to study so much, being able to revise so much that I'm able to increase my retention to almost 100% of the curriculum. That is your target right now. Your target just before the exam day is to revise all the strategies, all the points that on the exam day have to get up at this time, etc. Whatever I've told you to follow in that lecture on attempting the exam, that following all of those things in the last week of the exam, not eating outside in the last week, not giving a chance to fall ill in the last week of the exam. So you will do all of those things. That is your objective in the last week. That is in your control. And on the exam day, in your control is that whatever I have been able to revise and retain, I'm able to answer all those questions. Whatever practice I have done, I'm able to attempt those questions, approach those questions properly. This is what is my target on the exam day. Passing is not my target because that is not in your control. You cannot control what is the accuracy rate of other students, what is the level of exam coming up, whether there are more theory questions or more practical questions in this term. So I've seen students trying to forecast this as well, that the last two terms was more theoretical, so this time it will be more numerical questions. You cannot forecast any of these things, right? On the exam day, your objective is that whatever I have revised, retained, and I have worked so hard, the practice I have done, I'm able to crack all those kind of questions. I'm able to solve all the new questions also with the concepts I have learned. and I do my best on the exam day. After that, you start daydreaming, you start calculating that, okay, I missed this question, I was wrong in this question, I will get this much marks. You discuss with people, if you're allowed to, etc. You do whatever you want after the exam, I don't care. But on till the exam day, this is how you have to train yourself and control your mind. Got it? So you'll have to do this. Understand this. Do not fall for this nonsense gossip.